Hello, beautiful people. It is a beautiful day here in Weed, California, at the base of Mount Shasta. I hope that you're having a lovely day. God and Goddess, thank you so much for everything that you have given us. Please continue to show us the way and help us to illuminate the path for others. Help us to be effective in our mission to help save ourselves and humanity and uplift each other, help us break through all of the shadow banning and different blocks that are set in place to help us be able to reach those in darkness. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. Today is Mother Earth Day, and I wanted to show this, but I also wanted to read part of the actual text here. The prayer is our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent. Send to all your angel of peace. To the kingdom of the earthly mother, send your angel of joy. In the book of Genesis, the Nasarean book of Genesis, you will find these midday peace contemplations in chapter 16. And Mother Earth Day is upon us. And it says, Yea, Mother Earth nurses you at her bosom, helping you grow strong. Will you not defend your mother from the hands of the spoiler? Will you stand by while your mother is defiled? Lo, every Nazarene shall walk softly upon Mother Earth and shall protect her with his or her life. So today is about doing what we can to remind ourselves, to align ourselves with peace and harmony with Mother Earth and all of her inhabitants, whether they are in a human body or in animal body or whatever other things, the trees, everything else around us, even the water. We read in the the good book again, that in the beginning, all of these parts of nature worked together in unison, and love was connected to water, and humans were in this beautiful solar powered civilization and knew their place in the scheme of things. And we see later in the story that things were changed when the false Yahweh, the agent of Satan on this earth, tried to and was successful in luring Adam and Eve to the edge of the Garden of Eden, convincing them that he was indeed God and commanding them, scaring them into animal sacrifice. One of the verses here from the Megillah talks about this beautiful paradise before, but it also contrasts that says, now when Adam and Eve had begun killing animals in the garden, the atmosphere of the garden was changed. The murderous deeds had released noxious fumes that could not be seen, but could be felt. Yea, some animals began. Oh, sorry. Whereas there had been no fear in the garden, now fear spread throughout the garden. Yea, some animals began to kill and eat other animals, and those that did not kill began to fear those that did kill. And the atmosphere was now much more dense. Thus, all the bodies of animals and plants had become more dense in order to adapt. Now, we see that in the Megillah here, the false Yahweh literally comes to Adam and Eve, telling them to. Okay, well, we'll just see which one works here. I'll just flip myself around a little bit. Telling them that he is God and telling them how to kill animals, saying, I'm the spiritual hunter of all fathers. Behold, I will teach you to take great pleasure in hunting. You will take delight in sneaking up slowly behind your victim or hiding behind a bush in ambush. Your heart will beat fast in anticipation of the kill, and your mouth will salivate in anticipation of the taste of your victim's flesh. I grew up in mainstream Christianity, and we are taught that essentially God, the creator, is the one that first shed innocent blood, that God made a sacrifice when Adam and Eve first sinned, that there was a animal sacrifice made because of that, and that Adam and Eve were then clothed with this animal's skin. So we are literally taught that this false Yahweh is the true Yahweh, and that killing is okay from the very beginning. One of the reasons, if not the most specific reason given for wanting us to eat flesh, the serpent spoke, saying, Let my priests mix good with evil, for it is in robes of good that I shall dress my seeds. And only one thing is truly needful to enslave mankind. He must be made to eat the flesh of animals. For then we can enter his body and enjoy his senses. Yea, and we can whisper in his head, and he will believe that our words are his own thoughts. No matter if his scriptures declare love one another, as long as he eats flesh, he will be unable to follow those words. And yet, because we mix those good words into his scriptures, our religion of blood sacrifice is made more palatable to the young souls we wish to ensnare. The longer that you are on this path of purification, the more that you ascend the golden ladder, the more that your consciousness and awareness expands, and you are more easily able to see through all of these deceptions that once plagued almost all of our minds, thinking that God is this jealous, angry tyrant, and all of this stuff literally is so bogus to me now. But that used to be what was the truth at that point to me. And I accepted that mainly because I was born into that. But I have compassion for the people that are still in that position, but also understanding that there is hope for them because they can be pulled out of that. Their eyes can be opened if only they are ready to see it. So, regarding the false versus the true Yahweh, look inside because deep inside we all know that God and Goddess are one together, one of love and mercy and justice and ultimately love more than anything else. The ultimate wisdom is to give the final nod to love, and that is what creates this upward spiral towards universal salvation that we all can cling to as far as hope goes. That definitely fuels my fire because in these contested worlds, we know that even if one world perishes, the next world is going to start over again, and we're going to have a chance to rise. And all of those souls that continue down the downward spiral into the deep sleep, the timeout period, they're eventually going to get another chance to come back and try again. So that is the loving thing. That is the way that our creators are. They love us so much. And really, the change from that Aaronite Bible mentality to one of that's in line with the Holy Megillah and knowing how loving and kind and great God and Goddess, our parents are, it is so exciting and hopeful and will put a smile on your face even in times of trouble and sadness and heartache. So it's really inspiring and exciting. The last thing that I wanted to leave you with, I will check the live chat, but I'm not sure that this is connected to all of my chats right now. Christ says, it matters little what name you call God and Goddess. Hello, dog. That startled me. I did not know that you were here. Do you have an owner? No? Okay, bye. It matters a little what name you call God and Goddess. What matters is what kind of deity you call upon. If a man calls God by the right name, but in fact worships a demon, what good is that? I tell you truly, when a child mispronounces the name of his father, a good father is not angered, and he will answer his child regardless of the mispronunciation. So, regardless of what you call God, regardless of what religion that you were born into or are following, what really matters is our intent. And if we are on the upward spiral or the downward spiral, and really when you are following and putting worship and veneration into slash on towards these violent and vengeful, angry deities, you're going to see that reflected back in your life. And for me, I am so grateful to be on the other side of that, knowing that God and Goddess are loving and they're not vengeful and violent, and is really brings about such positive change in your life and uplifts you to a higher level of heaven mentally, spiritually, physically. It's really beautiful. So if you haven't dove into the Megillah yet, I would definitely encourage you to. The PDF, the limited PDF version is free online, but it's also available at Essene.org if you were interested in buying the book as well. David G says, hello, the false Yahweh has been leading us down the dark path from the beginning. Exactly. We see in the Holy Megillah that from the very inception of this world, the evil ones are trying to take over, and literally Adam and Eve are in the midst of their play, and they get lured over to the side of the garden to be brought out of it. So thinking about that and how the evil ones have had access to technology and all these other things, it shouldn't be any surprise that they've been controlling the mainstream narrative and the spin-off narratives as well from the beginning of time. They've been controlling history and science and government and politics. They literally print the books. They establish these different groups of people. They control mainstream media. They control the schooling system. They control it all. So it's very easy for them to facilitate what they have done. Looking back through history, how much has not been or completely orchestrated by the master brain, and then leaving breadcrumbs throughout the whole system to see that it is that way, that it has been programmed, that it is, look in media with different forms of things that have played out in the news that were movies before, right? People are talking about the Snake Eyes video, and I don't want to get too in depth with it right now, but there's a, movie about that Nicolas Cage stars in about a politician named Charles Kirk getting shot in the neck, and a lot of similarities. Even on the front cover, Nicolas Cage is like doing this symbol, and then there's a video of Elon Musk that is like doing this very obviously and repetitively. And until I saw that video cover, I didn't really realize why they were doing that. Obviously, they have signs and symbols that they use to empower their magic tricks, and they will use them for different meanings, but it literally ties back to that. So it's cool to see that connection. Anyways, the master brain has literally left all these breadcrumbs for us to see all of the things that have been completely programmed and manipulated by the snake priesthood, the priesthood of the serpent that is on this world. Even the fact that the video movie is called Snake Eyes, right? So anyways, we will get into that at a later date when I'm not on YouTube as well, because there's more stuff that has kind of transpired from the Charlie Kirk thing, and yeah, we'll see what happened. Shayla, hello, says, where can you buy the Megillah from? If you go to Essene.org, you can buy it from their website, which realistically you just have to find the number and call them. It's very old school, unfortunately, right now. But the final version of the Megillah is supposed to be out within the year. And then I was told that the PDF will be available for free download on the Essene.org website. I am hoping to help with getting things pulled into this century as far as technology goes, and having it on Amazon Kindle and just being able to have it available for every single person, because this is life changing, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. This has changed my life, and I know that the people that I have been able to share it with have been impacted as well. I think that our world really needs this infusion of the religion of love. Everyone is searching for, filling that void in their heart, in their lives, and we've been given a lot of false things to fill it, whether they're false religions or, the escapism of this world, drugs, alcohol, all of those kinds of things. What we're all really looking for is that love from our divine parents, and being able to let go, forgive ourselves of this messy stuff that we have all taken on by being in this fallen world. So, bye bye, puppy. Hey, dude, watch out. There's a vicious dog coming after you. All right. Okay. David G also says God and Goddess are good, or well, he meant God and Goddess, but are good parents. Those who do not make it to heaven are put into timeout, frozen in time. Exactly. Just like good parents, they don't throw you into the oven for disobeying. They will put you in timeout. There's consequences that are natural consequences of our actions, right? Every action has a consequence to it, whether it's good or bad, and we are the ones that choose it. Every thought, word, and deed that is in harmony with God and Goddess is going to result in more consciousness expansion and bliss, and more, ascension into heavenly realms. And all of our actions, thoughts, and words that are not in harmony with the divine plan are going to lead to this decay and this this contraction of existence, consciousness, and bliss. It literally dims our light and pulls us down into further darkness. So it is the logical conclusion. It makes sense that this darkness contraction leads to the darkness, the deep sleep, and these dark pits that ultimately become the living manure of the next world. And yeah, like I've said before, like the good book says, it's not good to abuse that and just ride the spiral and say, oh, whatever, I'll just, wait it out. I'll wait till the next reincarnation or the next time around, because you can get to a point where you are so far down that you can't even um, become a gnat or be a little bug, basically. And then when you become the living manure of the new world, you forget all of your memories. You don't have any parts, your whole soul, all of the stuff that you've been through loses that. So it's definitely not something to mess with. David, he says, how long is the final version? That is a good question. This version right here is, well, before the expanded footnotes, this book is 1,099 pages long. And I know that I'm pretty sure there's a few more chapters at least that are going to be added. There is a glossary that is getting put together. So there's a lot of things that have to be done manually that they need people in the church to help with. So that's one of the reasons that it's kind of taking so long, is that people are boots on the ground actually trying to get this stuff done, because the powers that be try to suppress this whenever it comes out. I'm surprised that I haven't been completely suppressed, but I mean, they've tried, and I know that I'm really shadow banned. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I know that with AI progressing, this power, their agendas are progressing, and part of that is using the patriots of all of the groups, patriots, the right wing, to cheer for essentially cancel culture that they were against before. Like, if you cheer for someone's death, then you shouldn't have a job, which is kind of ironic, because did you see the funeral that they put on? They're like, on this side, don't cheer for this person's death, and on this side, they're like throwing fireworks and like, woo, like cheering, right? It's just really kind of ironic and kind of like gaslighting or something. But anyways, Shayla says, speaking of false Christs, many evangelical Christians are swear by the King James Bible, or as I call them, lesbian Queen Jamie. Why? They weren't in love with their spouse and were instead attracted to other FTMs. That's why I call them lesbian. Okay. They were also a Freemason, referring to King James. And as if being an invert and a Freemason wasn't bad enough, they had to be a lesbian too. And the Jesus that is represented in mainstream Christianity wasn't, oh, especially in Catholic churches, wasn't even the real Jesus, and was instead modeled after Caesar/Cecilia Borgia. Well, I definitely agree with a lot of that, and King James not being a trustworthy person. Since reading the Megillah, my consciousness has opened a little bit more to the understanding, especially in the times that the Holy Megillah was written and the times when things were a lot different. Um, right out of the bat, Eve tried to help Adam see the light, and the false Yahweh went to town going after women and suppressing women and really saying, dominate women, they're lesser than, they need to be under your control, all of these things to prey on males and make them into the patriarchal version, these worst versions of themselves that we see. And I'm not like demonizing males. I'm saying that we've all been preyed on with all of our weaknesses. And one of the things is this patriarchal domination of women using scriptures and God. And in the Holy Megillah, for sure, there is teachings in there about lesbians. And for me, my initial reaction was against it, but now I also understand, especially in this context, that these women are looking for love, and all of the men are very mean to them and have abused them and hurt them, and a lot of negativity happen between men and women. And in that context especially, I understand why lesbianism was and is allowed and understood by a loving God and goddess. We also see that the false Yahweh went around and was the one that would kill people for being homosexual, and really putting this negative spin on all of it. So for me, while I would not want to promote these things, when I have a child, I'm going to teach them the way of the male and female, and which is evident in all of creation, this balance of masculine and feminine, divine, and they're working together to procreate and provide this expansion of existence, consciousness, and bliss. But I also have a lot of compassion and love and understanding for people that have fallen into other situations, and understand that those situations can be unique. And I just think that a lot of people, we need to just love them and not be so, quick to condemn people and push them further down into the downward spiral. So David D says that they are understanding, compassionate, and forgiving. Any souls can climb the ladder to heaven. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the beauty of it, even with our brothers and sisters who have become agents of Satan and want to be on the downward spiral and want to drag us down with them, inverts and all of these, Cain's seed, Satan's seed. They are ultimately our brothers and sisters as well, and they do need our love. I've really come to a lot more compassionate and loving stance with them as well. I'm not justifying what they have done. I do not support anything that they are doing, but from me, I don't want to be putting out any energy that is adding to the problem. I need to be acting in love and projecting love onto people and myself as well, so that we can all heal from this negativity instead of adding more to it. Especially if we're going to be saying that we're like members of the Christ family, we're representatives of Lord and Lady Christ, we need to be taking a different road than everybody else. And trust me, I know how triggering it is and angry you can become when you wake up and find out so many deceptions and these entities are lying to us, and it can be taken personally. First of all, if we don't take it personally, it's like less painful a little bit, um, because it's not personal at all. It's not like they did this just for you. It is humanity in general, and they've been deceived themselves. So if we can move in this compassionate and loving manner, understanding that they've been fooled, usually with the same lie of or that they are mortal beings, and they've been sold this immortality bit, and they have become enslaved light themselves. They've already started walking down the path of the evil one because they are deceived. And so us condemning them and being angry and violent towards them is not the way to go. But I really do feel like that is linked to the God that you serve. If you're following the Aaronic Bible and you think that God is this, if you do bad in one lifetime, you're going into the pits of hell where you're going to burn for eternity. Like, whoa, dude, that's not loving and compassionate at all. So yeah, I think that's a reflection of our behavior when we have these false beliefs and preconceived notions. Even people that are, more into the Old or the New Testament, and they, I mean, frankly, you can tell that they follow Peter and Paul just by the way that they interact with women and with other people in general, but especially women, and how just, dominating their energy wants to be, and like, you need to be under me so that I can put you in your place, and you're lesser than me, so I need to explain this to you. And, you know, I'm not like trying to put down men. I'm saying that there are a lot that fall into this category because of the programming that they're under, especially from Peter and Paul, and this lack of equality between the masculine and feminine divine. Hello, puppy. You have really cute ears. All right, I'm going to jump off of here soon because my battery is actually about to die. But I will be back on, what day is today? Today's Thursday. Tomorrow is the Sabbath according to the Nasarean calendar. So that will be a great day for meditating and jumping into the Bible. I will catch up with you at noon. David, he says that you are suppressed. Neither Facebook or YouTube notify that you are going live. Aw, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not really sure how I can fix the problem. I do try to tag people on Facebook when I can, um, but I don't even know that that shows you the notification when I tag you. So if you are wanting to watch my videos, I am going to be going live every day at noon. So if you just have one of my channels, marked, then you will be able to find me. I'm streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble at Queen Inanna Snow. So if that helps. Kyle says, hello, Kyle. How so much hypocrisy on the patriot side right now, shaking my head. And isn't it funny? I haven't quite been able to verbalize what I'm trying to say, but this whole idea of Trump derangement syndrome and becoming deranged because of your reaction to an entity, and how so much has been flipped on its head on the patriot side, that they are like, putting pictures out of Trump, being having Jesus behind him with his hand on it, and like just really putting so much energy and hope into this one character. It's like both sides have been deranged, and it's just very fascinating how much is being inverted on the patriot side of, like, even like you're saying, the hypocrisy, the silencing of people's opinions, whether you like it or not. You shouldn't be trying to tell those people to stop whatever reactions they want to have, like, you know? So anyways, we'll have to get into that later. Charlie Kirk promoted Good Ranchers meat supply. Ooh, and all these Christians are praising his legacy. Yeah, who knows how much other evil things that they were involved in, and now their family's being put on a pedestal as well as this godly Christian whatever, while the same people who are, oh, this is a godly person, are, kill the person that did it, right? It's like they're not centered. They're a reflection of the the God that they serve, unfortunately. So hopefully more people will be looking into the Megillah, the religion of love, and finding the true God and Goddess, because it is life changing. It will literally change the whole world around us. So that being said, if you haven't jumped in yet, I would love to get you in contact with the Megillah, sending you the PDF through whatever means that you can access it to, or through, or with, or whatever. So let me know. I will catch up with you tomorrow. I'm Inanna Snow, and goodbye. May God and the Goddess empower you and